Hey, Star Wars guy here for a Star Wars Visions review. Finally, haven't been feeling the best lately, but I'm back. So yeah, I'm gonna go the episodes in order. I'm gonna try to do a review of each episode in like a minute and 15 seconds, so this doesn't go too long. And yeah, it's very different type of series with so many different types of stories, so let's just get to the review and see how I liked it or didn't. Alright, so first we have the duel, the black and white episode, which was actually quite interesting. I watched it quite a bit ago now, so don't remember it that well, but I remember, like, the astromech and the, it was Celestin. But yeah, it was a pretty intense one with combat and had a pretty good story. And with the, what do they call them, like Ronin or whatever. But yeah, overall, pretty neat episode. I enjoyed it. But yeah, what else do I say? I want to talk more about it. I mean, there was like the one droid with the rapid gun, and there was a lot. Like 8-bladed lightsaber. There are a lot of cool things in this. Like with the entire series, there are a lot of cool surprises. But overall, the story and animation were really well done for what little time they had for a short. So, yeah, that's my review on the duel. Now, I'll be honest, this was one of those episodes that I didn't really expect a lot out of. It was obviously supposed to be like a more friendly one. It wasn't really supposed to have too much, like, I don't know, but it surprised me. I liked it a lot. And yeah, I enjoyed the overall plot and Boba, and it was very neat. Pretty cool animation too. I think it's sort of like one of the average anime animations, actually. So pretty interesting animation. I mean, I like the idea of the story too. It's pretty good story with Boba and everything, and Jabba and the Hutt and the entire rock band and the three you know what I'm talking about. I'll put the name in. Devaronians or whatever they're called. So yeah, but it really surprised me overall, actually. I thought I wasn't gonna like it that much, but it actually turned out to be one of my favorites, unlike one that we'll talk about soon. So let's continue on. Man, was this a confusing episode. This is one of those episodes that I find like really hard to follow along just because there was so much craziness happening at the end with all the fighting and all the weird abilities and lightsabers and them breathing in space somehow and like slicing through slicing through the Star Destroyer. Though it is one that could definitely, it's one of the few that could have a story added on. Because it had a good setup and everything. And it was quite interesting how they were twins made to be like in the dark side and everything. I found like the story pretty interesting, and the animation looked pretty similar to like what the average anime is, I think, but I don't know what average anime looks like. But yeah, overall it was pretty action packed, but that was also part of the downside for me because it was just so crazy and hard to tell what was happening. I know there was like a flashback or weird force talk they had, and that was interesting. But yeah, overall, it was a pretty interesting episode. I'll give it that, and it could definitely be continued on. So, I'll be interested to see if they do that in this season too. I don't know why, but I feel like this one was sort of cliche, but it was like in some aspects, but it was also very, very, very not cliche with like all the weird lore stuff with their village and the mountains collapsing and the view into the past and everything. It was very interesting. And then also, I'm pretty sure this was Imperial era, yeah. and so the battle droids were obviously not normal to be there. And seems like every anime studio that made something here definitely wanted to have a lightsaber character and a force ability. But yeah, so I don't know what else to say. But yeah, this shot I have up now was neat. I don't remember what they were doing. Haven't watched the episodes in a while, but overall it was pretty neat story. Overall, I feel like parts of it could have been a bit different, but it was good and entertaining. Probably one of the best episodes of the entire series. So let's move on. This was definitely a good one. Yeah, the plot twist. Like, there were too many plot twists in this, weren't there? But this was so interesting how it took place after episode 9 and lightsaber smiths and everything. And there was a lot of action and the weird, like, transparent green lightsaber until, like, its user was there. And all this lightsaber lore stuff was very interesting. And obviously how the Jedi were actually Sith, and, like, the guy that looked like he should be a Sith and the hologram was actually a Jedi, and everything. But it was very interesting. Like, how far after episode 9 is this supposed to take place? Like, 100 years? Or, like, because Rey's Jedi Order must be gone, because I assumed she would have started one back up, so it must be gone. But were there many generations even after her Jedi Order? And now, just after this, the Jedi are myth? But yeah, very interesting, and I liked a lot of the things, like the droid moments on screen, and the action was good. Overall, it was very interesting. Probably the best episode out there. And while I hate to say this, we might have gone from the best episode to the worst. I had high hopes for this. I thought this was, I don't know, I just really thought this was going to be a bit different. It was totally different plot than I thought there would be. Totally different. This is sort of like, I still enjoyed it, but like, I don't know, I was expecting something different, I guess. It was a bit too childish. Like, I expected it to be quite childish, but not as childish as it was. Towards the end, it got a bit more, climatic and stuff, and that was interesting, but yeah, I just guess I expected a bit more out of this. Though the plot was still quite intriguing, I guess. But there were quite a few cringe moments in the story overall. But I did like how they were trying to terraform a planet, and obviously I liked the idea overall of like a droid boy wanting to become a Jedi. It's a neat idea. I don't know. So yeah, this one, I'm sort of mixed about this one. Like, I didn't even know anything about like this old hermit scientist before the show started. It was just all confusing. This was probably my highest anticipated episode, and I don't think it disappointed me. It was very interesting and mysterious, and there were a few boring moments, like at the start when they were in the ship. But everything at the climax pretty much paid off. With the Elder and all of the action that happened. It was really awesome, actually, and just the mystery behind it. And yeah, I don't know what to say, but like the wise, creepy old man sort of stuff. It's a neat concept for a Star Wars thing. And see, this is before. What makes this interesting is that it's before Phantom Menace. I'm not sure how long before, but it actually seems like it might be quite a bit before Phantom Menace still even. So it's kind of interesting in that aspect of where it's placed in the timeline. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode. The action was pretty good. But yeah, overall, I really liked the mystery of it and the Elder's character in general. This was one I didn't expect too much out of either. But it surprised me definitely. There was a bit of confusing stuff, like how all of a sudden Ocho was like with the Empire and everything. Obviously, it was 7 years later, but they didn't really do a great job explaining that, I don't think. After she was so happy and everything, and then it's like just, oh, now everything's horrible. Though parts that were interesting, and I know I've seen a lot of other people thought this was really interesting too, and I agree, is that like the family lightsaber passed down. That's just a neat way of putting traditions into Star Wars, like real life traditions into Star Wars. But yeah, it was very interesting to see that entire story, and the action was good as always. The adventure, story was a bit confusing, with how everything changed all of a sudden, but it was still enjoyable. And the ending definitely made it so that it could be continued. Though, you see, if it didn't, I'm going to be upset because I feel like it's not the best ending for if you're not going to continue it. I will say this was another one of those episodes that was quite hard to keep track of. It was just so, well, a bit all over the place, but it was all right contained. But overall, it was still good. I know they had some flashbacks. I mean, bit cliche with all the dark side turning stuff and how, it was very Anakin-y, the story of it, or at least the second half. But I mean, I still like where they went with with those two dudes. I am not gonna try to remember their names, but they were obviously the comedy relief, and that was neat. Overall, some of the lighting, as you can see in this picture, was very well done. And yeah, overall it was pretty interesting, but just a bit confusing at the end, especially. Um, but overall it was pretty neat. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this. It's just that the story was a bit too cliche for me. Though some of the aspects of it were still pretty interesting. As you can see in this picture, like all those guards in the background and the person in the head at the front, like those are new things. All right, but there you have it. That is my review of Visions. How did you like it or not like it? There's so much variety that you should check it out, just because, like, there's definitely some episodes that you'll like or not like. So it definitely varies. It seems like every anime studio that made one really wanted to have a lot to do with the Force and Force abilities and lightsabers, but no, you guys don't understand. They were all about small droids. Look at all the small droids in this show. No, seriously, there's so many tiny droids. I don't know, I was just, every time I watched an episode, I was like, oh wow, there's a new small droid companion for the main character. It was kind of neat. But, yeah, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed my review. What's your rating? Overall, out of 10, I don't know. I really don't want to give it an overall rating just because there's so much different variety that, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to do an overall rating, but if you want to, go ahead. Definitely subscribe for more reviews coming soon, like Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales review. I've got a Star Wars for Beginners series. I'm making mini planets in Minecraft. I've got Book of Boba stuff coming up to help you get ready for the show. Yeah, lots coming soon. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you all are ready for the fun ahead. And I'll see you guys next time.